Hi and welcome back to my channel. I made a commitment to go to early group this morning because Joe's got an appointment at the gym. So I'm back from group nice and early, all fired up and motivated. But I'll talk about that in a wee while because the first thing I want to do today is a random raffle giveaway. I had some lovely comments last week on my video, and to celebrate 3 years at Target this week, I actually passed the 3-year mark on Wednesday. And can you show my sticker, Joe, on my book? Yeah. I got my 3-year Slim for Life sticker this morning, and I said to my consultant, she's 7 years at Target, I just want to stay 4 years behind her for the rest of my life, so wherever she's going is where I want to go. She's off to America for 3 weeks, that's not where I'm going to go, and I will miss her. You know, it makes a big difference not having your consultant around, but she'll be back in the new year. So let's do the random raffle giveaway. Let me explain what the prize is first before I ask Joe to do it. A couple of weeks ago when I did my Black Friday video, I actually said that the towels I love best are Christy. So I thought I'll put my money where my mouth is and I'll give away a couple of Christy towels. Now, colour-wise, I wasn't sure. You never know what colour the bathroom of the winner's going to be, so I opted for white. I went for these towels which have silver bands on them because I actually like white and silver. These are a good sized hand towel, they're Christy. What more can I say? 2 for the winner. So Joe, if you will go ahead please and use the random comment selector, yep. We'll see who's the winner of the 2 Christy towels. Okay.
Dawn Evans.
Oh wow! Now that is wonderful, but it is also, let me pick up on this week. I spent the day with Dawn and her husband yesterday. You saw that Dawn live on camera. It's a genuine selection. Congratulations Dawn, I'm really chuffed. That just shows how things work out in life, doesn't it? Had a brilliant day at the Christmas markets with Dawn and Phil yesterday. Oh, I'm so pleased that was done live on air, so you know it's genuine and it's honest. Congrats Dawn, I have your address, they'll be in the post. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, to touch on yesterday, Dawn and Phil came over to Nottingham for the day. We went to the Christmas market, we walked miles, we had great fun, and I'm going to say this on camera, Dawn and I have only met once before. We spent the whole day together yesterday, and it is so like being with an old friend. And for somebody who's not used to guiding blind people, or a blind person, she's incredible. We had a day where it was just natural. We went out, we had coffee out, we had lunch out, we went to the Christmas market, we rode on the carousel horses, you know, like Mary Poppins, and it was lovely. I could have made a week of it. So thank you Dawn, thank you Phil for a lovely day, and congratulations on being the winner. There'll be more random raffles in the new year. Right, let me go back to talking about group. Went into group this morning. As I said, I had to go to the early group if I wanted to stay. So I chose to do that because I personally need to stay to group. I've been going to Slimming World for 3.5 years and I've never missed a group. Now that's not because if I had to miss a group, my world would fall apart. It's not a sort of random, it's not a paranoia thing, I've got to stay, I've got to stay. It's because I love to stay, I want to stay. If I can't get to my group, I'll find another group wherever I am. And it's important to me. I need the motivation, I need the camaraderie, I need to feel like I belong, because I can very easily feel like I don't belong and then I struggle. So actually being a part of Slimming World is really important to me. We all have hobbies and interests, and I guess for me, Slimming World can be a bit like that. I could go on Mastermind and answer questions about it. I am committed to doing it by the book because it really interests me, and it's become a way of life, and I don't have to think about it anymore. It is just the way I live. To find a freedom from dieting after 40 odd years as an obsessive dieter, as a compulsive overeater, I belong to an organisation called Overeaters Anonymous for a long time. I used to go into group meetings every week, 2, sometimes 3 times a week, and I would stand up and I would say, my name is Jane and I'm a compulsive overeater. In the same way some people would stand up and say, my name is Tom, Dick or Harry, or Harriet, Joan or Frida or Margaret or whatever, I'm an alcoholic. I was addicted to food. And Joe and I spoke about this in the car. I think it was this morning, wasn't it? On the way to group, or was it yesterday? It was this morning. We were talking about the fact that so many of us in the world are addicted to different behaviours or different substances. My substance and my choice of drug of choice, shall we say, was food. And we were saying that if like me, you're a food addict, and I don't use that word lightly, if you're a food addict, you wear it, right? I was so addicted to food that I got to 22 stone very, very easily and could have kept going if I hadn't stopped at that point, because I actually had the life scared out of me by doctors. If I hadn't stopped at that point, I don't know where I'd be today. I would have topped 30 stone and still probably kept going. I was so addicted to food. If you're addicted to food, unless your addiction is, what's the word? Anorexia, amenorrhea, what's the word?
Amenorrhea?
No, that's like being addicted to, there's a condition, isn't there, where you're addicted to food, exercise, dieting. I probably got the wrong word for it. But what's the word you use when you're addicted?
Orthorexia.
Orthorexia. Sorry, I've got the wrong word. If you're an orthorexic, there's all these conditions. But if your addiction to food means you eat obsessively, you eat compulsively, you graze, you're forever hungry, you're always peckish, like I was, you're going to wear it. So whenever if you just, like, I'd been on the camera today at 22 stone, you'd have probably looked at me and said, she's got a problem with food. And I did. I had a massive problem with food. If I'd been an alcoholic, and I'm not belittling any of these conditions, I'm a great respecter of people with addiction. If I've been an alcoholic, or if I've been addicted to gambling or scratch cards, or if I've been, there are sex addicts, there are all sorts of addicts, there's programs to help lots of people out there. A lot of those problems, you don't physically wear them. So if my addiction had been to scratch cards, and I do know people in that situation, I'm not just making it up, then yeah, it would show in my purse. But my addiction was to food, and it showed in my body. And I cannot tell you the difference today and the freedom that I feel from not being addicted to food anymore. We sat in group this morning and the discussion was about buffets, and we had this virtual buffet laid out on the table. And Naomi was asking us, be honest, don't sit there and think I'm in front of the teacher or the group leader. If you were at a buffet today, how many of these different foods would you take? So mini pork pies, mini sausage rolls, onion bhajis, whatever, sandwiches, crisps, peanuts, cupcakes, mince pies, the lot, everything on this table. And we had to fill in the list of how many of, oh God, me, I'd have gone for 2 of the mini pork pies to start with, and then how many sandwiches would you choose? And be honest, but thinking about how I used to be rather than how I am today. And I tried to do it. I tried to fill in the list the way I used to be, and I couldn't do it. Because, sorry, that's my mobile. I couldn't do it because I can't think like that anymore without actually repulsing myself. So when it said pork pies, and I'm thinking, oh my God, mini pork pies, I could just post them and post them. I can't anymore. I don't want them. And when it was sandwiches like tuna mayo, egg mayo, look, I don't eat bread anymore. I wouldn't want them. That's not because I'm a goody-goody, it's because my taste has changed and I am no longer addicted to food. I'm no longer a compulsive overeater. So I want to stand here today and say, my name is Jane and I am a recovering compulsive overeater. Because my life just feels so much freer. Now, one of the things we were talking about in group this morning is whether to just say, right, okay, we're on the 8th of December, Christmas is too close now, it's only 2.5 weeks away, why don't we just forget it? Why don't we just say, I'll start again in the new year? Well, our first group in the new year is the 5th of January, right? The damage that could be done between the 8th of December and the 5th of January is monumental if you just let yourself go, if I just let myself go. And one of the things that Naomi was talking about was the weight gain last year. The average weight gain in our groups last year was 0.5 stone. That was an average. Some people put on 2 pounds, some people put on 15 or 16. And I can't help but in my mind think, if I choose to, between now and the 5th of January, put on half a stone or a stone, I could still be losing that in March or April. I'm wasting my life. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to live every day of my life, but I don't want to live every day of my life according to food. There's so much more to life now that I have that freedom from food. And what is good about this is, like, I've got 3 years at Target this week. There's people in my group, a lot of people in my group, who've got a lot longer at Target and who are living like this, but also enjoying life and being able to do things they couldn't do when they were overweight. I mean, like yesterday, Dawn and I riding on the carousel horses in public, in the middle of Nottingham Market Square, surrounded by this huge Christmas market. I wouldn't have done that at 22 stone for 2 reasons. A, I wouldn't have wanted to put myself on show, and B, I couldn't have got my leg over that horse. You know, being fat, and I don't use that word lightly, but I won't like tart it up and use words like chubby and slightly overweight. I wasn't chubby, I wasn't slightly overweight. I was seriously morbidly obese. I was fat. Being fat stopped me living my life. It was like having my life on hold for years and years and years. My life isn't on hold anymore, and food is not going to stop me doing anything. But what's incredible is the difference in attitude that I have and the difference in taste. Because food that I would have eaten then, which was high sugar, high fat, high salt, today I don't want it. I just don't want it. I could sit there with it in front of me and I don't want it. I don't know where that comes from. I never ever imagined I would get to that stage. But I know that hundreds, if not thousands, of other people are in that place. I'm not unique. So it's been a good week. I mean, my food has been normal for me now. I still write down what I eat every day because that has just become a part of my life too. I don't even notice I'm doing it, but by the end of the week I've got a completed food diary on my computer. 101 sins this week. 2 healthy extra A's every day, 1 healthy extra B. Plenty of coconut lattes and a ½ pound loss. So I'm back at 8 stone 13.5, which is where I like to be, because my Alexa thing tells me once a day at 8 p.m.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned her name. But 8 o'clock in the evening, if I'm around, she said, here's a reminder, your weight should start with an 8. And as long, even like 8 stone 13.5, that for me is my weight starts with an 8. That feels really good. Little things like that, little incentives to keep going. My alarm in the morning, when it wakes me up, says, it works if you work it, it won't if you don't. That's what I start the day with every day, that phrase. It works if you work it, it won't if you don't. And I believe it, and it's true, and it does work if I work it. I don't want to get back into my old habits. I will not get back into my old habits. I'm not going to be a little picker anymore, because it doesn't suit me to be. Eating 3 meals a day, eating no junk, eating low sugar and enjoying it has given me the freedom to like live my life. And so often, one of my friends, she's got a phrase that she uses and she goes, it is what it is. And it is really laughable because she says it with this broad Nottingham accent. It is what it is. It ain't. That's Yorkshire. It ain't what it is, it's what you want it to be. That's my counter to it today. Because when we go out and everybody's drinking and she's like, we should drink, it is what it is, it's a night out. Yeah, everybody can choose. That's not my kind of night out, because Joe and I were on the Christmas market the other day and we went to buy some mead, didn't we? He should laugh, I'll tell you. We went to buy some mead and there's this mead stall from the West Midlands, it's called Magic Mead. And the mead itself, Joe had never had mead and I love it. And we used to drink it on Holy Island years ago. And he had this, the guy gave him a sample and Joe had this like sip. Now Joe hasn't drunk alcohol for years?
3 years.
3 years, must be 3. Hasn't drunk, and he used to drink way too much of the stuff, I'll tell you. But he hasn't drunk alcohol for probably 3 years. So he has this little sample of mead. Oh, I like that, he says, it tastes like honey. And the guy's like, yeah, it's made with honey and water, nothing else. It's just fermented into alcohol. So Joe's like, yeah. So I said, well, I'll try the one that's mead and port, because I love port and Stilton cheese. So I had this little sample. I took 1 sip. Yeah, very nice. It went straight to my head, because I haven't had an alcoholic drink for a couple of years, because I'm not fussed about alcohol. And I passed it to Joe to finish. We then walked up to John, we bought some mead and that, didn't we? We then walked up to John Lewis to pick up a Nespresso coffee maker that a friend has bought me for Christmas. And I'm into that now. It'll be bye-bye coconut lattes, I can make my own, I'll save a fortune. So we went and picked up this coffee maker, and when you buy a Nespresso coffee maker in John Lewis, they have this Nespresso boutique. And you go there and you register your coffee maker, and they give you 150 pods free, so like 50 quid's worth of coffee pods free. And we're chatting to the girl and she goes, postcode. So I go, November Golf, because that's like the Nottingham postcode. I'm not going to give my whole postcode back. November Golf, so leave us here, whatever. And he starts laughing, because he said, you sound like a police inspector, didn't you?
Yeah, it really got me.
It really amused him, the way I said it. Now, I read crime books all the time. That's 90% of what I read are like serious crime books and that. And he has this thing, because I'm always like looking for the clues in crime books. And I read a good book this week that was recommended by Laura, Budget Slimmers. It's called I See You by Claire McIntosh. If you like a good read, it's worth reading. I read it in like a day and a half, it was that good. But he's like, he calls me DCI, which stands for Detective Chief Inspector Winky. So he's in the middle of John Lewis laughing, and you couldn't stop, could you?
No, it was so funny at the time.
But it wasn't the laugh, it was the alcohol, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it did go straight to my head.
Again, it went to his head, then it went to his legs. So you can imagine him. We're going around Victoria Centre in Nottingham. He's guiding me with this huge box, which is this big Nespresso coffee maker. And I've got a bag full of 150 pods and the other shoppies. So we're like 4 people wide, colliding with everybody, because he was tipsy. But by God, he was fast back to that meat store yesterday to buy some more, weren't you?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Do you want to show it, Joe? Show the small bottle and then the whiskey one. This is a company in the West Midlands, and the guy was from Lancashire. He was lovely. And a small bottle of mead is £7. A medium bottle is 14.
That's the one I bought for me. That's the elderberry and cherry one.
Yeah, that was £7, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't tell you the sin values on this, you'd have to look them up. And then...
This is a big boy.
Is that Steve's?
Yeah.
Yeah, now, our friend Steve is a whiskey drinker, so he got him some with whiskey in. Joe's got elderberry and cherry, and mine is just plain mead. But they do it with gin in, they do it with vodka in, they do it with brandy in. And it just makes, I like the shape of the bottles actually, but it makes a nice Christmas gift. And this guy does have a website, www.magicmead. So I'm not paid to advertise him, he didn't give me anything free, I didn't need anything free. But if you want a nice idea for a Christmas present, and you've got a family member who likes something nice to drink, but maybe something a bit different. Like my dad was a brandy drinker, he would have loved the one with brandy in. My dear friend is a gin drinker, and they do one with gin, which is called Dragon's Crown. They're all kind of medievalish, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, oh God, it's lovely. I reckon it's probably going to be about 4.5, 5 cents for 25, 30 mils. But I will look it up before I drink the bottle. Anyway, it's been a brilliant week. Fabulous group this morning, 77 people through the door, which was a bit smaller than normal, but not dramatically smaller than normal. But the variety, it's like, we're all unique, aren't we? We're all individuals. Some people are planning to blow it for a month. Some people are taking 3 days off at Christmas. Some people are taking a day off. I'm taking Christmas lunch off. I don't need to do much. That's comfortable for me. I don't like have this desire to think that in 2 weeks on Tuesday or 2 weeks on Monday I'm going to stuff my face. That's too much. I mean, that's too much like the old me. Didn't do it last Christmas, didn't do it the Christmas before. The Christmas before that I probably didn't stop grazing for a fortnight. I don't need to do that anymore because I've got a life. Food isn't my be-all and end-all. And I'm not judging anybody else, I'm talking about me and only me, so you don't need to click me a load of dislikes for it. If you want to stuff your face over Christmas, that's going to affect your weight, not mine. I just feel so thankful that food isn't the most important thing in my life anymore. And when I spend time with friends who are struggling, and I've got 1 or 2 friends at the moment who are going in the wrong direction, shall we say, and they're conscious that they're going in the wrong direction, but they're not conscious. They've got so much on and so much stress and no time. My answer to them, and I am frank and I am brutal sometimes, and people may not like that, but that's me. If you've got time to eat shit and crap and junk, you've got time to eat proper food. Because my friends will say to me, oh, I had no time, so I just bought a pizza and shoved it in the oven. In the time they can shove a pizza in the oven, I can cook a proper meal. I don't need to do that anymore. It's a load of excuses. And that is me being honest, and I don't need to make excuses for me. Because if I eat that kind of food, and I come back on next week and say, I've gained 5 pounds, it's not your problem, it's my problem. I don't want that problem. I just feel so comfortable doing what I'm doing, and it's like being on an even keel. It's so much better than either being up there or down there. I hear so many people say, after Christmas I'm going to do this, after Christmas I'm going to do that. One of the things we were talking about, and I think this was yesterday, but we're talking about time being a continuum. Like, as human beings, we talk about time being in 24-hour slots, don't we? So this is Saturday, tomorrow will be Sunday. And it's always somebody's birthday, it's always somebody's anniversary, it's always the anniversary of somebody you lost. There's all these dates crop up, but time is actually just a continuum. So when I used to say, I'm going to start dieting on Monday, well, usually with me it was a week on Monday, let me have a good feast before I do it. Never joined a slimming club without stuffing my face for a week first, until this time, when I just joined. I always had a reason why I couldn't do it today. And Joe said to me yesterday, he said, time's a continuum. If you're planning to do Slimming World, or if you're already doing it, why not just start now? Why just, And I said, well, when you're in that place, and I was in that place, you don't want to start now because you'd rather eat. You're not thinking the difference between stuffing your face and losing weight. You're just thinking, I'm not ready to stop eating. And I said so many times in my life, I just was not ready to stop eating. But I used to say, I can't do it, I'm not in the right mindset. My mind is not separate from me. When I want to be in the right mindset, I make a decision to be in the right mindset. So I get up in the morning, my alarm says it works if you work it, it won't if you don't, and I'm in the right mindset. There's a guy that Joe follows, he's a weightlifter, Bryce?
Yeah, Bryce Lewis.
Bryce Lewis. And what does he say, Joe, about no leakage?
Yeah, you flip the switch and there's no leakage,
you flip the switch and there's no
cheat days,
no cheat days.
It's just airtight.
Yeah, it's got to be airtight. And Bryce Lewis is quite well known weightlifter, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's really
when he switches that switch because he's got to prepare for a competition, he switches that switch in his mind. And then there's no leakage, it's airtight, there's no cheating, there's no days off, because it's what he wants more than anything. He wants to make himself the best person he can be to enter that competition. And I think that's how I live Slimming World. I don't need leakage, it is airtight, but it's not obsession, it's just a lifestyle. And for the first time in the 40-something years I've been around Slimming World, I understand what they mean by the lifestyle. I'm not battling with anything, I'm just living the lifestyle. I don't have to say to myself, shall I get a spoon to that jar of Nutella? Shall I get a spoon to that jar of peanut butter? I don't bring it in the house because I'm no good with that sort of stuff. If it's here, I'll be white knuckling it, I'll be battling with it, I'll be craving it. I don't want any of those things anymore. So I now have the wisdom not to bring peanut butter into the house, because I'm the only person in this house who could eat it, but I'm the one person in this house who should not be eating it.
If you're feeling like having a binge, have an on-plan binge, And
Well,
then
we've done
at
that.
least then you haven't done that much damage.
Yeah. We've done that. Didn't you do it one day recently?
Yeah, where I was just super hungry. I couldn't stop eating, but
Yeah.
everything I ate was on plan, and
Yeah.
I was still within my sins for the week and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And can I be honest and say this on camera?
Why?
You've lost how much in the last 26 weeks? 2.5 stone?
Yeah.
25 weeks. 2.5 stone in 25 weeks. That's doing it by the men's rules, you know, you can have up to 25.
But I don't have 25 sins a day.
You have?
But some days I do.
Yeah, some days you have 25, some days 17, whatever. But you eat bloody well, don't you, Joe?
Yeah.
And he does weightlifting and everything, so he expends a lot of energy, so he has to eat to do it. You can do it. He made a decision, he got up one morning, 25 weeks ago, and he wanted to lose 2.5 stone. And he's done it in 25 weeks. And I'm not bragging on his behalf, but he's had one maintain, 24 losses, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do it, whatever age you are. You just got to want to. And at the moment, praise God, and by the grace of Slimming World, we want to. So, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say today. I've said plenty, haven't I? Oh, can I just say that show the sushi before I go?
Yeah, we're at 26 minutes,
Yeah.
so sorry.
Pack of sushi in Morrison's. A friend bought it me the other day. 12 pieces. It's vegan, half a sin for the whole pack. I just thought that was useful if you're ever out and about, you're looking for something easy for a lunch. A couple of pieces of fruit, a couple of boiled eggs, pack of that, half a sin. Yeah. Right, we're going. We've got a busy day. Have a great week, everybody, and do what you need to do, because you're only responsible for yourself. But enjoy it. We'll see you next Saturday. Remember, it does work if you work it, won't if you don't. Take care. Bye.